health is physical wealth.
Hello, hello, hello. Today is September 18th, 2023, and this is the Adroit Living episode on the Erudition Network. I'm going to have a lot to go through today, so I'm going to try to get through it. This is an interactive live stream, but this is a very special episode, so please, please, please like, subscribe, and share, and definitely let me know you're out there getting these comments, but more importantly, like and share. You don't know how long it's going to be out here, so I'm going to give it to you right now. Okay, how does a company manage to lose revenue when they offer a never-ending, high-demanding service or product to a never-ending customer base? Let me show you. I recall a few years ago conducting a little research for a paper on a global company who supplies tissues and feminine products. You can always find out more information on their websites and the mainstream media who publicizes exactly what happened. But I'm not going to use any names. I'm only saying it is possible for high demanding product or service to lose revenue despite being a global leader and producing company. Oh, wait a minute, let me get in the comments. Hey, Sean Anthony, thank you for coming. I'm still getting used to, all this being online and talking for an hour. Anyway, so it's possible for a company that has a product that's on high demand to still lose money and almost go bankrupt for how it's perceived by the public who patronizes the company. So there's a history of positive consequences for shareholders, stockholders, and governing boards to heed wise counsel. See if we can get the we got the visual back. I don't know if you had the vocal, but okay. Teddy, can you go check to never-ending demand, despite the changes and challenges of their customers and competitors? But the never-ending demand only means someone will develop a better understanding of how to meet the demands of the customer. So I might have to switch computers in order to do this show. Anyway, the majority of stockholders, stakeholders, and governing bodies don't care who else supplies their goods, but they are interested in not going bankrupt. So this is an episode that's going to be interesting to everyone. So please share. Meanwhile, some executive board members of companies do not care if the company who employs them goes out of business because those employees simply find a position elsewhere. Some shareholders, stockholders, and governing boards thought it wise to have a shareholder or stockholder also take a position in the company on the governing board to ensure positive actions and growth of the company. The answers to those old problems were not always as clear as they are today, because that's not exactly a good move, but it's a start in the right direction. However, due to mimetic isomorphism, absorptive capacity, and my lifetime of experience and observations, the answer is going to require realistic payment. But I'm going to start here. The stakeholders and stockholders have a far greater interest in seeing their company investment prosper, or just their investment. But when you're part of the governing board, you're both. It's your company and your investment. However, the governing boards do not provide upfront transparency for shareholders and stockholders to clearly track why their investments or companies go bankrupt before there is nothing the company can do about it. Companies try to provide lateral job positions for poor representatives of employees who are liabilities to the company because the company loses money rehiring workers who may or may not be a liability. It wasn't always as clear as it is today to identify desirable employees. A desirable employee is one who, at the very least, has not been the center of controversy leading to losses or leading to revenue loss. Analyzing employee performance to identify desirable employees was not always as easy as it is today because employees, managers reporting on employee productivity are often contrived reports. Representatives who present controversial reports are often difficult to identify. It's telling me I need to restart my computer. I can't do that right now. But anyway, sorry for the technical difficulties. But it's hard to do for a few reasons, like such representatives are often supported by fear of those around them who may have or expect a quid pro quo. And in a lot of cases, the hired representatives don't know how to do their job properly. Rather, the employee has embellished their resume or was hired by a competitor who believed they were hiring the cream of the crop. The answers were not as clear as they are today. The kings and queens in Pond's clothing, as mentioned in previous episodes, check that out and you'll see some things and you'll understand better where I'm leading you in understanding how we can track these things far better now and why we're doing it. It's far less stressful for kings and queens in Pond's clothing to diversify their earnings, see BS coming and be gone before the crap hits the fan. That's normally what a lot of the kings and queens in Pond's clothing are, people who are knowledgeable and have the executive level knowledge, but they are lay persons. Mostly it happens to be because they see BS coming and they're like, I don't want no part of it. I'm just here to collect a check. I'm out of here after that. So that's those are the factual sentiments collected from various kings and queens of Pond's clothing across industry and the world. Thanks to my military travels and the fact that I do a lot of work with schools and diverse schools in different states and homeschoolers across the world. However, far be it for me to not provide a few reputable sources. I've been writing about these issues for years. My work has circulated globally by those who receive my works in good faith. I'm ready to share my evidence of my experiences in parts to the public in my live streams for a limited time, similar to what you have now in this live stream. Why? Because I have recently discovered I'm already improving the system. Unfortunately, I'm not receiving expected credit for my contributions outside of my personal publishings like my YouTube videos. Currently, it's difficult to provide such trusted transparency as to see, as you see in my videos, see episode titled Liabilities Representatives Retain. While you're at it, binge watch all the episodes. There's some gold bars treated as Easter eggs in every episode. Now you know what you're hunting for, as I promised in previous episodes. But there's something there for everyone because this is YouTube. You gotta love social media. It's a fickle beast and a heaven-sent angel all wrapped in one beautifully entertaining package. So make sure you go and check those out. Meanwhile, to the title of this episode, hidden dangers, hidden student dangers, or it should really be hidden school dangers, because everyone should be aware. Please be aware, academic school year and financial academic funding for the year are not always automatically aligned by the academic and financial aid advisors of the schools. And it's well understood students, especially busy students and um, new students, are not aware of the need to properly align financial support to each academic school year. A lot of these things we don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. But keep watching. Plus, schools are allowed to increase their costs beyond the allotted amount of money the government awards students per academic year for things like Pell Grants and things like that. So it forces people to overspend trying to take out loans in order to continue their education. Math games like these are contributing significantly to reasons student loans should be cleared. A lot of people are complaining about, well, why should we give people free? Why should we clear their student debt? It's not free, number one. And number two, it was a problem before it was ever made known to the public and mainstream. Anyway, institutions of learning have a never ending customer base of students and school financial support. Each student's case is different, so let's discuss some things. First, I would like to say thank you for your continued interest in my unique ways of sharing information presented in my past and in my present posts on different platforms and online, especially on YouTube. Mental health is physical wealth is now globally trending. Yay! Let's help more people with the information overload of this episode. And again, make sure you watch those other episodes because there's a lot in there that's contributing to mental health and physical wealth. This video is a YouTube recording, so please share quickly. Don't just save it to your devices and stitch the pattern of information as your own without including the original author, because you know how online algorithms work and how influencers like myself are fairly compensated for these videos. There's an urgent need for newly following executive board of directors and global investing parties to clearly see my contributions to a more informed society. So subscribe, like, and share since I'm making this information available for free on YouTube. You'll be better informed and you'll hopefully improve your mental health and physical wealth. Despite my shyness and trying to get accustomed to talking for an hour online in front of a camera. Who can do that? So cut me some slack. Anyway, the global economy depends heavily on academic structures to constantly educate people from the ages of about 4 to 26 years of age. So the world economy can thrive. The methods of schooling has always been controversial because centuries ago, people discovered some people are more educated than others, and the knowledge should be shared and controlled by third parties to control who financially gains from the knowledge and how much they each person should get, despite how much they earn. It's imagine that, right? It's but it's real. Those are the facts. Those are the bottom line facts. So you can research it for yourself and see. And I've written some things out there. Google my name and try to see if you can find some of those papers. Anyway, I have studied the development of school and the evolution of its development over the course of my life. Noted in my research writings, because my family has been involved in integrating equal education to culturally diversified students in American brick and mortar schools since before the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. joined the endeavor. Now word of mouth passing of true history can be more widely shared and faster spread as a direct result of technology. But word of mouth has always been the most effective and lucrative source of knowledge, even before staple people in the community, such as the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Share this video quickly. You never know how long it will remain posted. Old school, when we used to pass knowledge down by word of mouth, it was like, oh, you had to hurry up and find out what the information is, and you have to find out from the source, because as the information continues to be passed on to different people, people put their own spin on it to make it their own, and in doing so, it takes away the potential for financial gain. So that's why it's important to have guided perspective of the original authors of the information. Anyway, there are screenshots of shocking evidence. Student status is falsely reported to government funding agencies by someone at the school, backdating existing student academic attendance reports and altering federally funded student school information falsely to appear as evidence of students fraudulently accepting government school funds. Someone at your school may say this is a typical behavior, but no one informs you of such potential problems ahead of time. So clearly, it's not normal, nor is it okay. Check your records. They depend on you not doing it, but stay informed. The practice of this deception is commonly used and diligently recorded as evidence, which shows school administrators can create false information and pass it off as facts. So it's not to say that you will definitely be a victim of this practice, but it is to say that it's so commonly used that you might want to be aware and check your records. Have you ever wondered how new scammers know what they're doing and how to get away with it? Yeah, think about it. Um, this call may be recorded for have you ever called a school and heard the business on when you picked up the phone and you heard them say like a recording comes on and it says this call may be recorded for quality training purposes? Yeah, now you know. Have fun with that. I have found there are some people who can be recorded saying keywords and phrases in a way which seems premeditated for fraud, for waste, fraud, and abuse, despite the fact the phone lines are always saying the call is being recorded. So you have the right to record and keep your records of your calls as well. Think about that. Sometimes things happen and it comes to work for the good of those who faithfully and loyally, consistently, meaning, are working towards the good of those themselves and others. So I submitted screenshots to a federal aided agency showing evidence of false claims of waste, fraud, and abuse. So I know what I'm talking about when I suggest ways you can guard yourself to help your mental health when dealing with hidden student dangers, because a lot of times students more and more are coming to the understanding that they are supposed to be in a safe environment, but it's not a safe environment. And it's with that said, check your information often and take screenshots of everything. In your screenshots, include the time and date from your computer screen. Normally in the corner of your computer screen, there's time and the date. So make sure that your screenshot includes that. So there's so that people who are looking at your evidence on the glance, they can see that you are keeping diligent records. This video is the free version of this kind of information, so please continue to reach out to me for paid content. Speaking of keeping records, store online and offline records of your student activities and accounts activities, and share with executives. They'll understand its value if you know any. But keep your hard copies of information because it may be the most invaluable copy, pending how badly the information reflects on those who are accountable for harmful practices. Informing people of harmful school practices are important because these issues has notably impacted school safety. We have seen, and you can watch previous episodes where I explain, we've seen students, yes, going postal, and we don't really know the depth of the behavior because people who are experienced it don't know how to say what's wrong. All they can say is "ow" and point to the boo boo on their, whether wherever it may be. But it's like you can't expect somebody who's in pain and who's extremely down to be able to express what's really wrong with them. I allowed my children to attend brick and mortar school after being homeschooled and in conjunction with being homeschooled. And they are still, as adults, trying to put into words some of the traumas that they experienced in school, even though they're grown now. And that was, like elementary school, like grades kindergarten through like fourth grade. They didn't attend after that. I believe it was fourth. But anyway, remember this method of record keeping and sharing is your personal experiences so you can share any information you wish to help others with the same or similar challenges because mental health and mental wealth, physical wealth, well, the mental health of you and the others around you in your country is important and invaluable because it's directly connected with citizens' daily safety. And we're seeing that a lot more every time you turn on the news. So many people are opting not to watch mainstream media news because it's so many reports about all of these things that's hurting people and the fatal decisions that these hurt people are making, and nobody really understands what the problem is. What's wrong with you? How are you hurting? Why are you doing this? So I'm not saying that this is exactly the reason why. I am strongly suggesting that these are ways that you can guard yourself and guard your loved ones. See previous episodes where I explain how in detail. All those episodes lead to information shared in this video and in each video thereafter because it's all building up on one another. So please check those out. I don't have much time for each video, so you have to watch them all. Don't take it for granted that this information will stay here. Share now because you know how really helpful free information works. It doesn't always last, but I always appreciate those out there who are the out of the box thinkers who watch and record using offline devices. I use offline devices to record too. And I share the SD card copies and store some offline in different locations just in case. So out of the box thinkers, cheers to you because yeah, you're leading the way. Sometimes you can see social media videos where somebody's recording, but they also have another device that they're recording as well. Those are some out of the box thinkers, and those are the people's videos who tend to go viral and tend to impact the economy significantly, especially financially. But back to the information. Now back to more information, I should say. Please be careful to record copies of feedback of students' assignments, especially when it's altered in appearance as though the student was incompetent and responsible for the errors. This routine will serve you well as you enter the workforce as well. Feel free to reach out to me separately from this free forum to discuss details of this based on your individual need to understand how to proceed. It's not a blanket panacea. It's not something that you could say, oh, well, I had the information for free, so I don't have to look at anything else. Yeah, you do. Okay. I know there's hard workers like students and school staff and employees across industries who are tired of false claims which attack their integrity and competence to perform. I recall recently speaking with a young lady She was a freshman in college who was extremely angry about her experiences with college and her interactions with her professors. I told her the same thing I'm sharing here about showing your work and sharing evidence of your work. So I'm going to share it here on social media so more people can be aware and help themselves until they can get more formal help with their problems. I speak with a lot of people who share the same experiences in different parts of the country from different schools and different organizations. So there's no way to track or identify characters mentioned in my examples. I mention others' experiences to aid understanding people who may be experiencing these difficulties are not alone. I accepted the challenge to personally experience what's going on with modern students for myself. I tracked and recorded my experiences. I found several disturbing things. For example, a grade altered from an A to an F to support false claims of student integrity and competence. Then the grade was changed back from the false altered F to the originally earned A when the student informed the school the student has screenshots of academic transcripts and all student activities. People often ask me, what do I record? How do I know what information is worth recording? Well, remember, harmful representatives in a safe space identify as liabilities to companies, and harmful representatives are able to retain their positions of power by becoming employed at a different company or institution, which is alarming to stakeholders, shareholders, and governing boards for multiple reasons. You have to reach out to me individually to get my take on how to fix that. But there is a solution, and you're not the only one experiencing it. So don't feel all hope is lost. There's a way. Um, it wasn't always as easy to identify bad actors as it is today. So feel free to contact me for more details. Remember, this video is just the free version of information that you need to know to value the information. As informed consumers, despite your status in class, to better manage your mental health and physical wealth. I'm tired of seeing people hurting and lashing out and having misplaced aggression when it's not even the object of their aggression isn't even nearly relative to the pain they're inflicting on others. So we need to stop that. So, okay, so anyway, some actors in schools place a great emphasis on discounting imposters and calling out plagiarism behaviors when they want to. But where's the assistance for people visibly noted for advancing their fields, especially when all the students' work speaks for itself? Meaning they have new ideas and those ideas are leading the way. There are times students need to be mindful of forms of their new ideas presented in a safe space being taken from them by the organization the student trusts. Normally, students will be informed the students' new ideas have publication opportunities. However, harmful representatives can take advantage of the safe space and students' new ideas without allowing the students' work to advance the student academically or otherwise benefiting from their own hard work. That's a mouthful, but those are bottom line facts, and you should be aware. So check out your information, track your information, Google your information, Google yourself. It may not seem significant, but it really is. And when you Google and you're searching, do global searches because a lot of times it's easier to track globally than it is locally. There's reasons for that. You have to reach out to me to understand more. But anyway, imposters don't even work this hard to legitimize themselves. So anyway, it's crazy, but that's true. Empirical evidence, in my case, means experience, not experiment. And the phenomena here is the presentation associated with the phenomena of love and hate, as some researchers have described centuries before I was born. What does that mean? Centuries old researchers found it's not just being aware of the object, but awareness of the act itself. The Bible said it best: there's nothing new under the sun. However, your access to needed information may benefit from this video. So share this information so we'll all be positively contributing to global mental healing. Some people who want to control um, how I help schools, how I positively contribute to society, not just school organizations, but institutions of faith and business organizations, especially mom and pop shops. They want to control how I contribute to, these organizations and how I advance my field and inform theories. But those people may have not considered I'm a grown woman and God has control over my life. Um, Not some bad actors poorly representing any institution or organization as guaranteed continued liabilities to any company who employs the bad actors. Yeah, you don't have control over anybody but your own fate, and I'm gonna share how to track um, bad actors. So keep watching. Anyway, harmful representatives love my work. So keep watching. I'm not arrogant. I'm observant, and may even be a little rough around the edges, depending on cultural, political, and economic changes. But I maintain professional decorum at all times. Even if I tell a few jokes or laugh in times of frustration, jokes and laughs are um, better on my health than cursing people out. As people have advised, you should just curse somebody out. Maintaining control of my blood pressure isn't a reductive display of intelligence, but people are often twisting narratives, so I don't feel compelled to apologize for haters' motives. Those who read my writings and are inspired by my work are great and essential moving parts, but don't discount the author and the author's ability to continue to generate wealth and help others generate wealth. Opportunities to generate wealth in the growing era of digital technologies and businesses or e-commerce are endless and lucrative beyond imagination. See previous episodes where I talked about that. It's just it just takes a little thought from knowledgeable people. I like to call it guided perspective because you can lead a horse to water, but the horse may still die from thirst. Not long ago, family members were trained and conditioned to understand family history and concepts of their family's contributions to society. So I understand the value of leading the horse and training it not only to drink the water, but perform lucrative tricks because people love a great show, right? Unfortunately, the current failing economy, the pandemic, and the global meltdown, mental meltdown, I said that wrong, all seemingly signal a willingness to be receptive to means of reviving the economy. More than just enjoying a good show while dying of thirst sitting next to a never ending source of water. So I guess it's a call to wake up and stop drinking the Kool-Aid. See my previous episodes where I explain those details. You'll see the facts are not like the twisted trending narrative of the word woke or the foolish narrative of what is meant by drinking Kool-Aid. People need to show a more clear distinction between when they are joking and when content is provided accurately as information, as guided information or known information, something real, something tangible, as opposed to just jokes. So viewers of content can understand sarcasm or when someone is giving contradictory or misleading information just for the likes, clicks, and views. tickles and giggles, I call it. But anyway, to understand the Kool-Aid drinking, see Jim Jones' documentary. Jonestown methods of drinking cyanide and Kool-Aid for his followers to sacrifice their lives for his political cause. Also, for a rather entertaining movie for understanding the word woke and the way it should be used, watch Spike Lee's movie School Days. At the end of the movie, Spike Lee challenges people to wake up. Years later, the response is woke. Despite the modern twist of narrative, the facts remain unaltered. Woke identifies as being mindful, which is an awareness despite seemingly behaving and contradicting to knowledge of injustices and carrying on as though the victim of the injustices aren't cognitive of what's happening or in spite of knowing the facts of the injustice. Like it's a good example is a good mate who knows their unfaithful mate is once again cheating on them, but um but the faithful mate is reacting in a way that makes it seem as if they are unaware that their unfaithful mate is once again unfaithful. So, yeah, so a lot of times when people do that, you really got to watch your back because something's up, something is up, and something is coming. And keeping along with those sentiments, those are facts. Something's going to happen that's going to be extremely big. So keep watching. Um, with that said, there's a difference between those who are born in a field and accepted the challenges to overcome and evolve, and newcomers to the field who join in for personal gains, like the need for a job. I'm not saying that that's not a legitimate reason to join a field, but I'm saying that there are more lucrative ways um, to seek employment. Not to be reductive, but the difference is financially significant from those people who are joining in order to maintain a job and those who are knowledgeable about their field because they live it and breathe it and they grew up from, a baby to an adult experiencing it. My concern is the impact these matters pose on mental health. Students are displaying fatal acts of misplaced aggression in unpredictable ways and unpredictable environments. My confidence in my ability to speak on these issues and help with these matters should not be viewed as arrogance. But my confidence can appear arrogant when people try to attack my faith, confidence, and integrity, then fail to discredit me. So such acts such attacks are a stressful blessing, and if not for such attacks, I probably wouldn't be as good at what I do as I am. So thanks for the recorded copies of the hate, waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm just saying, it's a bright side to everything. You just got to see it. Attacking my confidence and my knowledge of my faith and field is like looking me in the face and trying to convince me I am not of African descent. I'm likely to reciprocate the foolishness with an ignorant, comical response. Not because I'm arrogant or confident, but because my personality, and I normally try to be positive or laugh. Meanwhile, some other people would have long caught a case when they were tired of you. So I'm just saying, there's a better way I want to show you, and I use these YouTube videos to try to show you by also imploring you to understand mental health is physical wealth. So trust me, I'm extremely familiar with your frustrations regarding the subjects in this video and the other videos. It's not just the people who have come to me over the years globally and told me about these problems. It is my willingness to experience these things for myself and confirm that it has nothing to do with your status, your ability to perform, your knowledge. It has to do with negative representatives of these organizations who take advantage of their position. It's not everybody, though. School representatives have notably vacated their positions without seeing a resolution at the height of conflict resolution, despite the conflict having been presented to them as urgent. How you go ghost and you're in the middle of solving a problem, or supposed to be in the middle of it anyway? The vacancies seem strategic and contrived to perpetuate problems instead of resolving conflicts. I've secured documented evidence which speaks for at least 10,000 victims. Are school governing boards and accreditation agencies the only governing bodies to receive such reports? Are they the only way schools will fix these problems? You have a plethora of information, but some people are going around like a chicken with his head cut off without the guided perspective seen in my live streams. I'm not just the author of writing works. I also have the experience of the modern savviness of the hidden school dangers. I'm sharing because the more we know, the more we grow. I am because you are. If you're mentally unstable, everyone should work together to help your mental state. It's imperative to our country's survival. The thing about chickens with their heads cut off, they leave a messy trail of evidence. It's always somebody's job to clean up the mess, which leads to far higher costs associated with including more experts' assistance in cleaning things up. Normally, because messes always cause more damage than what's on the surface. The digital age messes are more like trillions of dollars worth of bloody trail because these are always lasting evidence regardless of digital scrubs. A lot of people feel like you can delete things, information put on the internet or digital pictures and things like that, but the fact is you cannot. I'll go into it. Just keep watching. It won't be in this episode, but it'll be over a period of time because there's no way I can get all that in 1 hour. Anyway, the more evidence of a cover up, the more evidence there's going to be to have higher costs associated with cleaning things up. A major source of continued concern, which really makes me upset, is the people responsible for the messes are never the ones who endure long-term financial consequences as harmful company representatives. The harmful company representatives simply move to another position, causing costly messes elsewhere, but it's preventable. If people knew that it's easier now than it was before to track who's doing what, I don't think a lot of people would be doing a lot of the bad things they're doing. But far be it for me to say anything in 1 hour. I got to space it out. The phrase "a fair share" is trending and is notably a factor of the great resign seen in North American job markets, which also causes people who have not resigned to become laid off, as seen in the United Auto Workers strike. Now the fair share phrase is leading the country to understand employment strikes better. In short, slave labor is over. Get over it already. When profits rise, the wages of employees rise with it, not just the profit margins for people who are only gaining, because methods of earning livable wages is the business plan which has historically led North American workers to be more motivated to become employed and retain employment. The self-preservation methods of kicking the can down the road didn't plan for the time the road led to a dead end. See other episodes where I talked about this in detail. But another example for this video is how awesome my bank is. USAA informs me when people like businesses or schools check my bank account without my knowledge or my permission. I'm certain such actions are not normal, necessary, and it's questionable if it's even legal. But now you are more aware and you're more informed. You're a more informed consumer because some schools have your bank account information. So do some organizations. So go check your bank account history. What are you looking for? Well, what does social media have to say about schools frequently checking your bank account without your permission, knowledge, and necessity? Do you think it's legal? What are you looking for when you look at your bank account? Keep watching. Do you want your school constantly pinging your bank account and then suddenly and conveniently telling you to take out more student loans for school? Is the government aware schools may be frequently and without permission pinging student bank accounts for what seems to be questionable reasons? A lot of people say loans are scams, but it doesn't need to be a scam. So check your account. This is what you're looking for. Meanwhile, students and families of students, check with your bank. Ask about the monthly activity on your bank account and the bank accounts of your associates. Ask if anyone has been pinging your account, meaning ask if there was any attempt to get funds, then canceled the transaction before it had time to digitally post to complete the transaction. E-commerce is clever. It is witty. Anyway, given the current state of affairs and how the government oversees financial assistance, it becomes difficult to help finan- to help students and consumers avoid waste, fraud, and abuse while attending accredited federally funded schools. The VA, government grants and loans to include private loan companies, school accreditation boards, school stakeholders, stockholders, and governing bodies have stake in knowledge of these issues. Not everybody who is representing the organizations have knowledge of what's going on in these matters. That's why this is free today. So share. Class action suits are expensive for companies and consumers, but the suits also serve as a paid silence, which indirectly hinders assurances the problems are fixed, which then leads to opportunities for reoccurring accounts of waste, fraud, and abuse. Normally, when victims report such violations to authorities, victims enter into a lawsuit which can drag on for months, years, and seemingly forever. All the while, new victims are still brought into harm's way because the mindful victims must remain silent about their experiences. Unfortunately, victims' silence indirectly allows the alleged predators time to keep preying on others and collect more money from new unsuspected victims. Lawsuits have been created to silence victims as everyone watches legal proceedings unfold. It's just not enough to prevent waste, fraud, and abuse to continue in places like schools because problems like these happen and taxpayers are the most affected victims. Even if the taxpayers don't take out student loans, they're the most affected victims because the government forces taxpayers to financially support schools. Check your taxes if you don't know. Check your taxes. The government usually is very slow to evolve to modern technology and simple new generational trends. So, as slow as the government moves, predatory practices can exploit several trillion victims before anything is ever done to prevent such alleged abuse. Now, again, you better share this because this might not last long. This might not be up here long. There are times I wonder if the government knows how savvy companies have become, taking forever to permanently prevent predatory organizations and institutions, waste, fraud, and abuse. Is just a part of forcing taxpayers to remain in overwhelming debt. It seems like institutions and organizations are like children who are getting away with being bad because they're smarter than their parents, overseers, or guardians. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be reductive, but that's what it seems like. Online schools are not just for college and graduate students. It's for K-12 students as well. So this means everyone in the world should be mindful of possible hidden school dangers mentioned in this episode. Clever people can find email addresses of investors and potential investors to get ahead of opponents to support full transparency of informed investors, because consumers are more mindful when they have consumer reports like these, but investors should be more informed too, instead of just the usual investment information. I used to work for an investment company, so yeah, that it's a usual information that's provided that excludes this kind of transparency. All businesses have problems, but investors and future investors believe the company they are investing in is done having problems which threaten to cause their investments to completely collapse. So there's a new way for investors to identify risk. I'm going to keep showing you as you watch and participate in my live streams. Don't forget to go back and binge watch previous episodes. I'm certain you'll find a lot more interesting information to bring your mind at peace, which will support mental health and physical wealth. First, let's begin with the understanding this. Um, Research is what I do. I may not use direct names of the organizations that have not been in the news, published in public forums, or in like videos, advertisements, and public records of any sort, etc. But with that being said, it's clear how all the information, especially on American businesses, industrial, and institutional structures, are generally included in the consideration of these acts, the mentioning of these acts. I will also keep information simple so consumers, investors, and potential investors will understand. So stockholders, shareholders, and governing boards will see why new mainstream audiences are better informed than previous decades. Board of trustees, chairpersons, and directors are curious about consumer sentiment and strategies for ensuring consumers' financial support. Unfortunately, full transparency up and down the hierarchy of usual way of communicating and conducting businesses is rather ancient. But stay tuned because I will share how to be better informed of full transparency information you can trust. Share and increase your mental health and physical wealth. In times such as these, trillions of dollars are being raised, invested, paid, and distributed. But is the money being used in the most profitable way if there's no full transparency way of tracking what's causing your money to gain or lose value? Globally, schools and every industry in the world invest several trillion dollars into schools because they are expecting their investment to significantly mature regardless of evolution, state of era, political ideology, etc. Because as long as there are babies being born, there is money going into education, housing, and institutions of faith. I'm going to share my experiences of schools and various challenges everyone should be aware of, which can improve your academic experiences from kindergarten through PhD programs. This is a video on YouTube, so please share quickly. Don't just save it to your devices and stitch the pattern of information as your own without including the original author, because you know how algorithms work and how influencers like myself are fairly compensated for these videos. So with that being said, I had to get that all out so that I can expand on it later, because the information in this video and other videos that I've presented are extremely important and they're invaluable. However, a lot of misinformation is out there and circulating, but people don't know how to differentiate the difference between good information and bad information, the difference between guided perspective and people who just have sarcastic jokes, or, they're just doing it for tickles and giggles, likes and clicks. So it's important for you to do your research or watch people who do the research and share those sources with you, like I did in my last episode. So go back and watch that episode. Then you'll be able to understand this video better. But you'll also notice in binge watching other episodes that I frequently give peer reviewed study reports on various things that I'm telling you about, which support your understanding that this is not Tina's perspective. This is not Tina's experiences. This is not the experiences of those people who have found Tina and tried to get help from Tina. This is not about Tina. This is about people who need the help but may not be able to afford it. That's why I do provide services for people in a way that they can afford it. Because now I don't talk about it, because it's like if you put it out there too often that you're willing to, help for a lower price than what your real market value is, then people may get the assumption that this is a method across the board. No, there's a contract. There's a contract. So that's how we keep things organized, so that it's fair across the board. So it's not to say that those people who can't afford it aren't getting quality assistance. They're getting assistance that's extremely tailored to their situation, so that they can thrive and have improved mental health. The reason why mental health is important is because, like I said in previous episodes, you can't even go grocery shopping. You can't go to a movie theater. You can't go anywhere without having your safety in that environment challenged. School should be the most sacred place outside of an institution of faith, where people can feel safe and comfortable talking with other people who are in the environment, especially if they're representatives of the organization or the community of the organization, like the governing bodies that help to establish the organizations. So it's important to understand that I'm doing this for mental health, because mental health is physical wealth. And if you don't believe that, see how this idea has gone global and viral, and see how that's affecting the financial decisions of board members and governing bodies of organizations and institutions. You can track it, so you can understand, especially if you have the ability to manipulate what you can see on the internet. I'll get into more details about being able to do that as time goes on, and I'll show you the books that you can purchase. I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I don't accept sponsorship because I don't want censorship. And sponsorship and censorship go hand in hand, as you well know. But I'll show you the books that have aided understanding in being able to produce the things that you would need to see to improve your mental health by day-to-day tasks being a lot less stressful. So that's my show for today. Please remember, mental health is physical wealth. Teddy?